As college students, you need to know how to read academic research, but not everyone has been taught how to read a peer-reviewed article. In this video, I'll share some quick tips for reading selectively and efficiently. You can and should read articles selectively. This might feel weird at first, but the reality is you won't need all articles equally. And sometimes you just have more assigned reading than you could possibly read word for word. Tip number 1, read only what you need as much as you need. Articles are broken up into sections. All articles have a logical structure and roughly follow the section headings listed here in this order. However, the names and number of sections vary by field and by journal. For example, in some articles, you'll notice the literature review is embedded in the intro. The more you read in your field, the more you'll get to know the conventions of those specific journals. Back to reading selectively. How do you know which sections to focus on? Well, that depends on your objective. Ask yourself, why am I reading this particular article? What are my reading goals? If your goal is to get the big picture overview for a class discussion, for example, then you might prioritize reading the abstract, intro, conclusion, and references. If your goal is to understand a particular author's methodologies and findings, then you might focus on the methodology and discussion sections. Knowing why you're reading will help you make a selective reading plan. So you can and should read selectively. You can also practice reading more efficiently. In other words, skim. This might feel weird too, but it's important to recognize that reading journal articles linearly, as you would read your favorite novel, is not efficient. Instead, a more effective approach involves skimming through certain sections and concentrating on only the sections most relevant to your objectives. Note that skimming is not about complete understanding. Rather, skimming initially is about targeted engagement, reading the minimum number of sentences to gain an approximate understanding before reading more deeply later if the article proves relevant to your goals. So how exactly do you skim a section? Well, here's one way. Read the first sentence and the last sentence of the first paragraph. Then read the first sentence and the last sentence of the last paragraph in the section. Can you paraphrase what you just read? Do you know what the section is about? If you haven't found the main idea yet, then skim the body paragraphs of the section in the same way. You just skimmed the intro and the conclusion. If you do find the main idea, move on to the next section. And remember, the purpose of this initial skim isn't complete understanding. You just want to get familiar with the main ideas and assess the article's relevance to your goals. Reading academic articles is a learnable skill, and you will improve with intentional practice. So go practice reading selectively and efficiently.